Hi everybody. This is Ismael today at Art Can Change the World, and today it's been a while since I've done a video. As you know, a lot of things if you're an art teacher and if you're an educator, you know that a lot has changed in the world, and one of the things that has changed is the COVID-19 epidemic has kind of changed a lot of things in education and in aspects of how we teach, and for a lot of teachers across the country, they're teaching um, remotely, right, through a laptop or a tablet or something of that nature, and coming up with different ways of basically trying to engage the arts uh, through video and through technology. But as we are progressing forward and we just elected a new president and things are very chaotic politically in the country and so on, our hearts, at least my heart, tries to calm itself down by thinking about the aspects of how important the arts are now more than ever. However, it's not set without its problems, right? And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to do this video. This video channel has been really dedicated, to art education, the importance of the arts. Not just the visual arts, theater, dance, uh, uh, the literary arts, creative writing, things of that nature, and just how the arts really encompass a lot of who we are, even culturally, right? Dances of there are dances that are amazing and wonderful that come from all parts of the world, right? And if you come from a distinct culture, like in my culture, my parents grew up in the island of Puerto Rico, so salsa, music as well as dance is a part of that culture, right? And every culture, and there's so many, right? There are thousands of them, have their own version of their own type of music, their own type of dance, and so on. And why is that important? Why are the visual arts important? Why should we even care about what we do as visual art teachers and as artists? And I'd like to speak as an artist who teaches rather than an art teacher who just teaches art. The other day I read a post on Facebook and I really felt bad for this particular art teacher, visual arts teacher. A parent had apparently written to her that her child would not be taking any remote classes in the visual arts because it didn't have any importance or gravitas, let's say, to her grade. So she felt, well, art doesn't mean anything in terms of her overall school average, so she's not going to waste her time taking art, and I don't want her taking art because I'd rather that she focus on mathematics, ELA, English or social studies and science. I really felt the pain of that teacher in terms of what she was saying, because how do you then do your job as a visual arts teacher if people are not going to take what you do seriously? And I hate to say this, but parents have a lot to do, adults have a lot to do in the marginalization of the arts, in education as well as in the public arena. And I think this channel has done its part in trying to educate people about art education, the importance of art education, the different aspects of it, and the things that an art teacher should know, and I try to do the best I can as far as sharing my knowledge and experience with you. But I think another aspect of this program or this videos that I'd like to make is really have discussion or discussions about the importance of the arts in all facets of life. There are times that, people who, let's say, marginalize the arts, who take for granted very much how they dress, what kind of jewelry they choose, right? How they adorn their homes, what kind of books they have in their library, and of course, what art do they put on their walls? As if that's a separate thing than the arts as we understand them. And my argument is, it's not. What makes you unique, culturally speaking, and that connects to a lot of different things, right? When we speak of culture, we're also speaking of language. We're speaking of ideas, concepts, history. We're thinking of some really deep thought, religion as well. All those aspects are intertwined. And the arts are all part of that. You may not want to call it art, but it is art. When we think of architecture around the world, we don't really think of it as art, right? But yet somebody has to teach the young how to build, how to construct, right? And you have to know how to draw an idea down. Before computers, obviously, architects drew everything. There was no other way. Today we have drawings by Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael, and others like that, right? Great Renaissance artists, even greater than them in terms of some of the ideas and things that they ended up building. And some of the best architects were the artists of the Renaissance. Now, this doesn't take away from people who just do that, but guess what? You still have to have an artistic intent, in a sense, to understand space, to understand how things work together. And all of that is connected to engineering and science, but it doesn't mean that beauty, deeper ideas of beauty, and of course we all define that differently and uniquely, right? Every culture does. I remember many years ago when I went to China for the first time. One thing is to see a country when you read about it in a book, right? Or see pictures, or even videos. It's a very different experience when you're actually walking on the land of that country, when you're actually there. And you begin to see these beautiful structures and these types of art all around. It really gave me not only, I had a great respect for the artistic and the visuals of China already prior to getting there, but it definitely changed the way I perceived it even more so, and gave me a greater respect for the beauty that I saw woven within all the other stuff, right? Because I was teaching there, not even as a visual arts teacher. I was there because I was working to teach English. It was just for a short time, a couple of months, but it changed my life. And I think when I go to other places around the world, I've been to a couple of Caribbean islands. I've been fortunate to travel even here in the United States, go to other states, and see that everywhere it's a unique experience. Woven within all of that is language, culture, and the arts. When we think of music, right, we don't always think of music in color, right? We think of music as what we are hearing to, but there is a lot of color, right? And there's a lot of variation and versatility in music. It's immense. And even music, we have to break it down, right? Is it jazz? Is it classical? Is it Caribbean music, right? Is it Chinese music? Is it Korean music? Is it Hispanic music? Is it salsa music, right? It has so much to offer us, right? And any good musician will tell you there is always something to learn. The same thing goes for an artist, someone who sees the world uniquely. I've been fortunate to know a couple of really wonderful, like full-time professional artists, people I look up to, people like a well-known artist by the name of Felipe Molina, another artist, Mako Fujimura, and a dear, dear beloved brother and friend, Tony Reineman. So I mentioned these artists only to say that each of them are very different and unique and express their ideas in ways that are profound and deep. But you can only get that when you are listening and looking deeply. And they reflect a lot of their own cultural experience. My brother Felipe Molina is of Colombian descent. My friend Mako Fujimura is of Japanese descent. Tony, I think, was born here. I've never asked him what background he has necessarily, culturally speaking, but regardless, it's all woven within his work. And they're all great and amazing artists. And they're very different in their styles, in the way they portray what they're saying. So why is that important? Why have this discussion? The reason I'm talking about this is because as our art teachers, we need to be advocates of the greater narrative of what the arts mean. If you're a visual arts teacher today, why are you an visual arts teacher? Why did you choose this profession? Did you choose it because it was easy? Or did you choose it because you know that the arts have something much more to offer, not only the very young, but the very old? And that the connection between your culture, the language you speak, the poetry that, let's say, is known in your homeland. In the United States, American poetry is beautiful, but so is British poetry. So is the poetry of India, the poetry of China, the poetry of Spain, and even the poetry of Puerto Rico. We have some amazing poets of Puerto Rican descent. Actually, a couple from New York City who are Puerto Rican descent that are just amazing artists, Puerto Ricans here, poets, I mean. But you wouldn't know it, right? That poets still exist today, and poets still write from various backgrounds. But they have significance. They reflect the great story of humanity. And that's what the arts do. So when a parent says to a teacher that they don't want their child to explore or to expand mentally, spiritually, physically, that's what they're saying every time they say that the arts are not important. You know, you can't read great books by great writers, regardless of what background. Everything from James Baldwin to Howard Thurman to John Mitchum. Now, of course, they're a particular genre, but let's say we talk about poets and so on, or other books that deal with a way of thinking that is outside of the norm. Things that are not normally taught in school. You have to kind of search it for yourself. That's what the arts offer us. They offer us a connection to history, a connection to our own very identity and culture. They open doors that no other subject, I think, in my opinion, can offer. You know, people always say, you know, I'd rather be I'm a person of science, right? Or I'm a person of math, or whatever it is, right? Because they're very into absolutes, right? To them, they have to be really sure. So if science doesn't say it, they don't believe it. The arts don't allow for that. They allow for imagination, for creativity, and for thinking outside the book, and to have wonder and faith in something that is beyond your own world or comprehension. Faith in what? That's up to you. But that's the beauty, isn't it? There are no right answers in the arts. But guess what? There are no wrong answers either. It's all about where you come from, your perspective, what you bring to the table. And the arts are willing to embrace all of that, but you have to be willing to give it a chance. How we kind of look at ourselves, and who we are and where we live, didn't happen happenstance. You know, people came before us. People taught us things, right? And woven within all of that is a beauty that is attached to the arts. And there is no way you'll ever escape from it, as long as you're a human being. You know, I have a funny little story. Every time I have a number of guitars. I'm not a great guitarist by no means. I can't even play a song really well, if at all. But I love the instrument. And my favorite guitar right now is really the Telecaster. And I just finished modifying a guitar. You know, I love to tinker with them, and I love to make my guitars sound much better than they originally sounded. And you know, and since I usually buy inexpensive instruments, I try to upgrade them. You know, but every time I pick up my guitar to do anything with it, I have a little cat now. Her name is Sophia. She's about a year and a half. While I'm taping this video, that's the time. She's about a year and a half right now. She has this curious thing of always coming up to me when I'm playing the guitar or when I'm tinkering with it. Every time she hears music, there's something that pulls her to that. Now think about that. That's a cat, right? You don't always think of your pets as having emotions and feelings and connections to things. But in the most basic way, she responds to the sound. Just like you respond to your favorite song. You don't have to be an artist to love music. You don't have to be an artist to like certain decor. You don't have to be an artist to build a house. But I know you're going to be using that beautiful imagination and all those ideas that come from all different sources of who you are in terms of your upbringing, in terms of the people you know, into your experiences, your language, your ideas. So the arts really tell a bigger picture of who we are. The hard part is, for me, and as I know for many others, is getting people to see the the utter value and importance of the arts in their lives and in the lives of their children. Our job is not easy, visual arts teachers. If I could choose the career of my choosing, I'd be a full-time artist with probably a TV program kind of similar to Bob Ross, except that I'd love to do something like visit and see a beautiful painting and discuss it and have a dialogue, because I think it's important. Wherever you are and whoever's looking at this video, I hope you will look at the arts with a greater sense of wonder, but also anticipation, and hopefully also a sense of making it a part of your life in a way, and already seeing that it is a part of your life, but even more so. So for this rambling that I'm doing today, I leave you with that. Of course, share your comments below. I would love to hear what you think. And if you want more discussion about the arts and the importance of the arts today and every day, let me know. How would you love this channel to, in what direction do you want it to go? And until next time, keep drawing, keep painting, and change the world around you by changing the world inside you through the arts. Take care, and God bless.